Look who it is. What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Sean Ford, aka Big Kill Streak. And we are back with 3 a.m. meal prep talks. Tonight we're going to be talking about a topic that's been bothering me a lot. It's been bothering a lot of people a lot. So I'm here to talk about it. It's going to be a little topic we all are a little bit iffy to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it because I have an opinion. It's trans athletes, trans women, biological men that have transitioned into women, competing in women's sports. I'm not going to give you my opinion on anything just yet. We're going to watch this little clip first and give you some perspective as to what I'm talking about. And then we are going to talk about it. This is not the only topic I'll be talking about tonight. I will also be talking about another instance of just mess. You'll see what that is too. When we get to that, we'll talk about that too. But for now, I forgot my meal prep at home, so I stopped by Wawa and I got a turkey and cheddar, turkey sub. It is turkey and what fucking cheese? Turkey and cheddar. Turkey and white cheddar to be exact. Nothing special, just some turkey and white cheddar. And you know we gotta have the mayonnaise, baby. I added a little mustard already off camera, but you know, a little bit of mayo to this because we don't want no dry ass Sammys up in here, homie. And on that note, let's get to the video.
The swimmer, Riley Gaines, responded with this tweet, and I'm quoting now. Leah Thomas is not a brave, courageous woman who earned a national title. He is an arrogant cheat who stole a national title from a hard-working, deserving woman. The NCAA is responsible. If I was a working woman at ESPN, I would walk out. You're spineless, ESPN. Riley Gaines is here. All right, Riley, welcome to the show. Have you gotten any backlash for your comments?
Hi, Mr. Varney. No, I have not, which I think shows how people are becoming more bold. People are starting to open their eyes to what this gender ideology propaganda being pushed by the left, being pushed by the media, being pushed within education systems. They're opening their eyes to how harmful this is, specifically, of course, to women and to children.
Now, in your tweet, you suggested that women working at ESPN should walk out. Have you heard anything from ESPN?
I have not, which is of no surprise to me. I will say I admire Sage Steele, who works at ESPN. Of course, she is a real female. I admire her so much because she has taken a public stance on this. Of course, working around sports,
she's a real female.
We know the advantages that men have in comparison to women when we're comparing things that require athleticism or sheer strength. And Sage has been the only woman working at ESPN to publicly acknowledge that, and so I admire her for her courageousness and her strength.
As we go forward here, various solutions have been proposed. How about a separate category
what I've been saying.
where trans athletes compete amongst themselves? Female athletes, male athletes, trans athletes. What do you say to that?
You know, I think in an ideal world, in terms of finances and in terms of the amount of people actually playing in this division and people watching this, I think this is a perfect solution. A lot of people will, of course, look at this as something that's segregatory and we're isolating the trans community. But from my perspective, we're embracing the trans community. 5 years ago, if you would have suggested a trans category, people would have laughed in your face. But now we're acknowledging these people do in fact exist and giving them a space to compete fairly, safely, which is what we all want. That's what I want, and that's what the women, that's what we deserve.
So to you, it's an issue of fairness. That's it. It's not discrimination, inclusion or exclusion. It's basic fairness. That's it?
Absolutely. That's the whole argument. My argument, of course, in regards to this whole issue, especially the Leah Thomas scenario, This was a male swimmer, a mediocre male swimmer who was ranked 462nd nationally at best amongst the men, has now transitioned to a woman, and of course, naturally, trails the women, dominates the women's field. How are we not seeing the blatant discrimination that we are facing on the basis of sex, which is of course what everything Title IX was created to protect? We are, as women, being discriminated on the basis of sex.
We appreciate you being with us, Riley.
Wow.
Thanks very much for being here.
Of course,
Always
yes.
come back
Thank
soon.
you so much.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
So there was the video, just to give you all some perspective on just what we're talking about tonight. Usually I would just let the video play and not do like the little, you saw I was in the box there. But I hit record before I decided not to do that, so that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to be in the corner there first. Obviously, you've seen it just now. And then I'm going to be here talking about it. So what do we think, people? What do we think? I'll tell you what I think. What I think is she was exactly right. And you, as my girlfriend, as my witness, I've been saying this for a while now, since this became an issue. I do indeed believe... New tattoo. You see it? Ooh, it's kind of cool, right? I do indeed believe that trans athletes deserve their own league. I don't think that's segregatory or segregatory. I don't know the term. I've never used the word before. I don't think that's any form of segregation, at least in my opinion. I know other people would disagree, but fuck you. I don't give a fuck if you disagree, because frankly, and we're just gonna keep it short and sweet, baby. Trans athletes should not be competing with what they like to call cisgender athletes, or people who were born and identify as their biological gender. So a brother like myself, who obviously I'm a dude, and a woman, like any woman who identifies as a biological woman, as they like to say, because the fact that we're even getting into all this biology shit, to me, is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of dried up already. It's kind of tired. It's just what we have to do. But like, I don't know. I don't think trans athletes should be competing against women, not only for the physical advantage that a biological male has over a woman, but also for another driving reason for me personally is I'm tired of hearing this bullshit about, oh, you know, trans women are women too. Listen, I don't disagree with the way you feel. If you feel like a woman, all power to you. If you want to identify as a woman, all power to you. But, homie, you was born a guy. You were born a guy. You have more bones. You have more bone density. You have higher strength. All these things all play a factor, especially in sports. You're taller. Your arms are longer. Your legs are longer. Come on. We're not even going to get into the other instance of this complete cold bullshit, and they only didn't make it a big deal because I'm pretty sure the chick who got beat the fuck up wasn't white. I hate to bring race into it, but it plays a factor. The chick wasn't white, so you got that instance in the I don't think it wasn't the UFC, but it was in a fighting league where they allowed a trans woman to fight a regular woman, and she caved her fucking skull in. We're not even going to talk about that. Back to the topic at hand. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree that there should be a league for these people. It's not fair for them to be competing against, especially women. I think it's very unfair that people are acting like this isn't a big deal. I think it's very insane, mentally insane, societally insane, crazy, that we even have to have this fucking conversation. That would literally be like think about it, dude. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to make this make sense. as far as how I'm trying to say it. At this point, you may as well just let men compete against women in regular sports then. Like, because that's essentially what you're doing. And then to do the things that they've done as far as, if it was a tie, I mean, I don't know, dude. Listen, it's not, it's a touchy topic. That's why you hear me stuttering so much, because it's less about me not knowing what to say and more about me just being so lost for words as to what I should say. Like, why are we having this conversation? Why are we having this conversation? And if you don't want your own league, then you don't fucking compete. It's just that simple. I don't want to hear this segregation, discrimination bullshit, because it's fucking bullshit, frankly. I like I've said in past videos, I'm not far left or far right. I'm all about what makes fucking sense. That shit don't make no sense. Sorry, homie. And I'm not talking to nobody specifically when I say homie, before y'all think I'm being malicious and sarcastic or whatever you want to call it. Maybe a little satirical, but sorry, homie. If you don't want to compete in your own league or with the men, then you don't fucking compete. It's just that simple. You can't be level 400 over in the men's section and then come over to the women's section and be number 1. That right there should tell you how much sense this fucking makes in and of itself. Like, let's be completely honest. And here's another layer to this thing that people never think about. How come you never hear about trans women moving over to men's sports and dominating and becoming number 1, huh? How come that never happens? Because they're women. They come over to the men's side and they do absolutely horribly. Because they're women. That's not sexist either. That's factual. And let's not even talk about a trans woman would not even, or a trans, what do you call it? A trans man. So a woman transitioning to a man wouldn't even for 1 second think about going over to the men's side in, let's say, a fighting league or a contact sport or anything like that. Wouldn't even think of it, because you're talking about decimation, demolition. You're talking about a complete train wreck of anything going on with that. Hey, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comments about this. We can talk about it more in the comments. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves, whatever the case is. But I said my piece. It's some bullshit. Get your own league. You don't want your own league? Don't compete. I'm not a transphobe. I'm not a sexist. I'm none of those words y'all like to use to attack people. Sorry, and I know people are still gonna fucking try to call me some bullshit, but it's just facts. I'm not about nothing but that don't make sense, period. Let's move on to the next video.
On Thursday this past week, a 16-year-old boy was sent out by his mom to go pick up his 2 younger brothers. His 2 younger brothers had been at 16. A friend's house.
So I saw pictures of this kid a couple of days ago, or like yesterday or something like that. I didn't know what this was about.
He got confused.
This is the first time I'm watching this too.
He accidentally rang the doorbell at the wrong house on a nearby street. 1 street over. He was going to what he thought was the house where his younger twin brothers were staying with a friend. He went by accident to the wrong house on a neighboring street. An 85-year-old white man who lived at that house answered the door, and according to court documents, when the man saw 16-year-old Ralph Yarl on his doorstep, he shot him twice, shot him once in the head, then opened his door and shot him once in the arm. According to prosecutors, Ralph Yarl never entered the man's home. He was shot through the glass of the front door for the first shot.
Shot him through the glass.
Miraculously, Ralph Yarl survived. He got up and he ran away. He reportedly had to go to 3 different homes before someone agreed to help him.
Then shot him again.
Mr. Yarl has been in the hospital since Thursday night, but he was discharged this afternoon. He's now at his home recovering. His mom is a nurse, and she's been caring for him. Tonight, Monday night, 4 days after the shooting took place, the county prosecutor announced that the man who shot Ralph Yarl will be charged in the shooting. He'll be charged
Oh,
with 2
he'll be
felony
charged
counts,
with
including first-degree
assault.
When the prosecutor
You mean
announced the
attempted
charges,
murder?
he said there was
'Cause that's
quote,
what that is.
racial component to the case.
Obviously,
Joining
there's
us
a
now
fucking
is
racial
the mayor of Kansas
component,
City,
dude.
Missouri, Quentin Lucas. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. I know this is a difficult
Mr.
time for your city.
Mayor.
It's good to be with you.
First, let me just ask you if I explained that in a way which is in keeping with your
You know
understanding.
what? We don't need to
of-
watch the rest of this, to
these
be
events.
honest.
If I got anything wrong, or if
I
there's
don't
anything
really give a
important that I
shit
left
what the
out.
mayor has to say about it. He's going to play the politics game.
You know,
Let's just
I've
get
read
right
the
to
probable
what
cause
we
charging statement, and
just
probably
watched.
the most heinous part is that the.
You know what? Sorry if I had to cut that video short. You'll probably be able to find it. I guess if you want to watch the rest, I can put the link in the description so you can watch the rest and see what the mayor has to say. But just like I was just saying, he's going to play the politics game. I mean, I watched a little bit of it off camera. He seemed a little bit more sensible than you usually hear from a politician or anything like that. But of course, everything's going to always go back to you know, race relations, you know, as a black man, et cetera, you know, he was saying stuff like, you know, as a black man in a predominantly white community, what do we trade? We trade our safety for, we trade our safety for better schools and better education systems and better neighborhoods. And I mean, I don't know. It's again, this is another cut and dry topic to me. It's very nonsensical what all happened, and it's almost certainly racially motivated attack. Now, they're saying the guy was in his fucking 80s. For all we know, he's got dementia or something, and he thought dude was a goddamn World War II soldier or something, and he was back in Normandy or wherever, whatever was going on over there, and he, I don't know. But to me, it's cold bullshit. They're talking about assault or whatever the case is. I didn't even hear, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I didn't even hear them say assault with a deadly weapon, just first-degree assault. If I'm wrong about that, again, correct me, but first-degree assault, even assault with a deadly weapon, is not enough. In my opinion, at least, and I'm sure plenty of other people's opinion, it's not enough. This was an attempted murder. I guess maybe the charges are lower because he was on his property, which plays a factor. They mentioned that the state they're in, which I'm forgetting what it is right now, is a stand your ground state. So yes, of course, if the guy was, say, attacking him or something, or attempting to enter his home by force, and he was shot legally, the shooter would face little to no legal ramifications for that. But in this case, that's not what happened. If anything, he tried to sneak and kill this, what is a kid. He shot him through the fucking door, opened the door, and then shoots him again. Thankfully, I guess the kid may have been attempting to escape or trying to get away or fearing for his life. He might have saved his own life for all we know, because they said they shot him in his head and then shot him in the arm. So I'm assuming this is a fantasy scenario, obviously. I'm assuming, boom, he gets shot in the head, he falls down. The guy steps out of his door to shoot him again. He puts his arm up, his hand up, in defense, and maybe gets shot in the hand or the arm, or I don't know the exact spot in his arm he was shot, but he puts his arm up in defense, gets shot again, manages to block the bullet, then get away. Fantasy scenario. I don't know exactly what happened. Obviously, it's not in the video. I haven't heard anything else in regards to this case other than having watched this video. That's just my hypothesis. That's my theory. That's my fantasy scenario, as I just said. And sorry, the Walking Dead is on in the TV on the gym, and this guy just stabbed this guy. I don't know why. I'm getting distracted. Point is, this was an attempted murder. This was an attempted murder. I hate to be the guy who's like, oh, this is racially based, but it's almost certainly racially based. Unless we can confirm the guy had some sort of dementia or some sort of crazy old guy reason for why this happened. Good morning. And maybe we can give him some benefit of the doubt for that. But I'm highly doubtful of if you're cognitive enough to, one, go and retrieve a weapon, and then two, attempt to fire it through a door at someone's head, which is obviously attempted murder. What else is it? Then I can't imagine you're that out of your mind that you could have any sort of justification for it. These are short videos, so there's not a whole bunch, good morning, that I really need to say. You saw the videos. You can tell me what your opinion is down in the comments below. This is just me reacting and also talking about some instances of some crazy bullshit that have been going on in the world. I was talking to somebody else not too long ago, and he was like, it's the end of days. And I don't really like to identify with that idea or that ideology, because, come on, bruh. It's been the end of days for the last fucking 100 years. Everybody, every year, it's the end of days. The world's gonna end in 2000. The world's gonna end in 2012. The world's gonna end in fucking 2020. The world's gonna, come on, guys. We don't know what's gonna happen when. If you're a Christian, we don't know when Jesus is coming back. We don't know. I'm saying we as a generalization. I'm not including myself. If you're whatever else race, we don't know when the world is ending, whatever you want to call it. We don't fucking know. Have a good one. So just ride with this shit. Try to get rich. Try to pay your family back for everything they might have done for you, or try to shit on them if they never treated you right. Try to prove all the haters wrong. Try to make it happen for yourself. That's why I'm here on YouTube now, because all you can do is try to win what is a game. This shit is a game. All we can do is try to win it. That's all I'm trying to do, is trying to win it. You know what I'm saying? So, this has been 3 a.m. Meal Prep Talks. And y'all have a fantastical day and end of days. Like the black off them. You don't wanna hear that Mac talking. All these niggas, they be trash talking. Pussy boy, you not a friend of me.